Hello everyone and thank you very much for watching. This is me, Mr. P, and this is another episode in a series, Proxmox server plus Samsung DeX. In this episode I will show you how to set up DietPi OS VM on your Proxmox server, how to install Pi-hole on that VM, and how to set up Tailscale service to act as a gateway that will allow you to access your Proxmox server from anywhere in the world from your Samsung DeX setup. Let's begin. There's a couple of things you need to do before following this video. Number one, download Dietpi OS PC version from dietpi.com. You will find that by going into dietpi.com website, click on the download section, and a page will automatically scroll down. You just click on a PC/VM, and I'm going to use native PC UEFI version in this video. Once you download this, it's going to be a zip file you need to extract until you will get ISO file. I already downloaded mine. If I double click in this folder, as you can see, there is Dietpi native PC etc .iso file. That's the one we're going to use in this video. Another thing what you need to do is to set up Tailscale account. You just go to tailscale.com website and create account using your Gmail account or just ordinary email account or Microsoft account. As you can see, I have one created just before this video. It's blank. There is no devices linked at the moment. So we have Tailscale created and you have a Dietpi OS ISO file ready. You just need to log into your Proxmox server and then select the storage which one you're using to store all the ISO files. In this case, in this particular setup, it's going to be a master. If I click on that and I'll click on ISO file, ISO images, I will click upload, click select the file, then click files, and the page will open up. And as you can see right now, it's opened by default straight away into downloads because that's the one I used before. I'll double click on a folder and I'll double click on an ISO image. Proxmox detects that I selected ISO file. It tells me how much it's in weight. It's 546 megs. If I click upload, the upload process will start. You need to wait until upload process is finished. I will not upload the ISO file because I already have one uploaded couple of days ago or so, 3-4 days ago. So I'm going to use that to set everything up. So we have ISO file uploaded, we have Tailscale account created, so we can start setting up the Dietpi OS VM first, then getting a Pi-hole setup, and then going with the Tailscale route. To set up the VM, you click on the blue button at the top right hand corner, create VM, or you just click on a Galaxy or your server name and you right click and say create a VM. I'm going to give ID number of 700 and I will name this Proxmox YouTube video, for example, number 3. Click on OS. I will select the folder where my ISO is located. I have the Dietpi OS inside the local. Yours can be in the others. Like say if I click master, I can pick it from here. I have it in multiple places. I'm going to use the local version. I'm going to select Dietpi native. The rest of the things leave as default. Under system graphic card, select Spice. Machine is going to be Q35. Firmware BIOS is going to be UEFI, and then select where to store UEFI file. As far as I know, this is about 10 megabytes in size, so it's not going to take a lot of space. I'm going to select master. Rest of the stuff, leave it as default. Under disks, you can select storage. 32 gigabytes of storage for this kind of setup is overkill. I would say, I'm going to say 12, even probably 12 is overkill. 8 gigabytes of size will be plenty. I'm going to leave as 12. Under CPUs, I'm going to select 4 cores. And under memory, I'm going to select 4096 and then 1024. I'm selecting 4 CPUs because it's overkill, but I like to set up more than I need for a setup process. And once everything is set up, I can reduce it down. So it means like I give as much power as I possibly can to the VM while it's creating to getting everything set up faster. And once it's done, I can reduce to let's say a normal level where it's fine. I will end up having only 1 core, maybe 2. And with the memory, I selected 4096, which is 4 gigabytes of RAM, or 1024, which is 1 gigabyte of RAM. And that means is Boolean device. That means that this VM can use between 1 gig and the 4 gig of RAM. And if it doesn't use all the RAM, let's for example say this VM will use 2 gigs of RAM, the other 2, this VM will give it away to another VM, another container. It's basically like a sharing is caring between the VMs. So that's the one. Under network, leave everything as default, and under confirm, you will see a list of stuff you just selected. Everything is fine. I'm going to select tick start after created and press finished. And right now on the left hand side, I'll see the ID number 700 pops up. I can select on that, click on a console and see what's happening inside this VM. Once VM is started, you will be presented with the Dietpi installation window using arrow keys. Just make sure you selected I install Dietpi, press enter, and a CloneZilla will start. And if you see this is great. If you don't see this, but you see a lot of gibberish, it means that you selected the graphic card, something else than Spice. Make sure you select the Spice when you were setting up the VM. Otherwise, you will see basically a lot of pixelated things in here and you will not see actual output as I do. Installation process is going to be very simple and 99.9% automated. Only one place, which is right now, I need to press enter to confirm where I want the VM to be installed, and the rest of the stuff will be done automatically by this installation script. Once installation is finished, the script will automatically shut the VM down. I can't speak today. And once the virtual machine is shut down, I'll be back because we're going to start the VM from zero, from cold, and we're going to carry on setting up Dietpi OS. Installation finished and the virtual machine is turned off, so I can right click on the virtual machine and select start, or while I'm selected this, I can press start here at the top right hand corner. So we're starting the Dietpi OS virtual machine after installation, and right now it's going to start into a setup process. The setup process is almost exactly the same as I demonstrated while I was showing you Raspberry Pi server plus Samsung DeX using Dietpi OS. Pretty much the setup process and questions that the OS will ask you is almost exactly the same. Right now, as you can see, that's what I get. It says that the installation process is about to start. It tells me that it's going to be 159 IP address ending, and it says default username is root and default password is Dietpi. So I'm just going to press enter and say root, enter, Dietpi, enter. And right now, installation process or configuration process starts. I'm just going to press enter on this, and right now it's going to ask me to change the password for the root, for the user, and the rest of the stuff. Pretty much the installation process is quite simple to follow. So if you just follow instructions on the screen, you will be finished in no time. Last step, what's going to ask you is just basically you will see a Dietpi software page. Just scroll down, select install and press enter on that, and then select OK and press enter on that. And right now, Dietpi installation or setup process will finish the rest of the stuff, and it's going to present me with a login page or login terminal screen to log in into this virtual machine. Dietpi OS setup finished. As you can see, I'm right now inside the terminal, and I'm successfully set up the Dietpi VM. Right now, let's check if everything works fine. If I will just say ping google.com, ping is happening, connection is happening, everything is working. Please note the IP address for your system. Mine's ending 159, as I suggest to you log into this VM from the Termux on another SSH client and do not use this console. One of the big peeves about this is that inside DeX, when I'm setting this up, if I press backspace, it acts as a back button instead of being actual backspace. So if I'm going to click backspace, it's going to start taking back and back and back. So I suggest to use Termux or some other SSH client. So we're going to log into this Dietpi OS using Termux. 192.168.178.159. It's going to ask me for fingerprint and then ask me to enter the password that I set up during setup process. And here we are inside the Dietpi PC version virtual machine. So right now, let's do a couple of things before setting up setting up Pi-hole and a Tailscale. One of the things that Tailscale will ask you is to get the IPv4 forwarding enabled. To do that, you need to go into a file and edit one line. So if you go into the file, which is nano space /etc/systemctl.config, that file, press enter. And if you scroll down just a bit, you will see a message saying this one, net.ipv4.ip_forwarding equals 1. You just delete the hashtag or #sign in front of it to uncomment, then Ctrl X to close it, Y to save it, enter to confirm. Another thing what I like to do, if I'm just going to go Dietpi-config and go into security options, host name, and I'm just going to rename this to say YT3 episode YT3, just for me to know when I'm logging into my home network and see all the host names, I will know what this VM is about. And I can type the episode. Here we go. Press enter, back, exit, okay, and I'm just going to say reboot, because a reboot is required not only for me to accept the host name change, but to enable the IPv4 forwarding. The reboot process will take no time because it's running very small distro onto my basically beefy Proxmox server. Once you enabled the IPv4 forwarding and you will try to log in again to this VM via SSH client, using SSH via SSH client, you will get something like this, which is going to tell you that a host name and etc. changed, which is fine. In my case, I need to go into the cd.ssh folder and then just say remove known hosts. Basically, delete all the fingerprints that I accepted before. And now if I'm going to log in back in, it will allow me. So I have the host name changed. Right now it says episode-YT3, and I enabled IPv4 to get the Tailscale working properly. Or not the Tailscale, one of the Tailscale features, which is called routing, is going to be working perfectly. Next step, let's install Pi-hole. If I'm going to go into a pi-hole.net, you will find the link in the description below. I click on the install button, and I'm just going to select this line, Control-C to copy, or actually right-click and copy just to make sure. Inside the Termux, I press Control-L to clear the screen, left-click and hold, and then choose Paste and press Enter. And right now, Pi-hole installation process will start. The installation process, again, is very easy to follow. It's just going to ask you a couple of questions. So here we go. First message, this installer will transform your device into network-wide ad blocker. I'm going to press enter on that and just press enter on that. It's telling me, is this device has the static IP? I'm going to say yes, that's fine. Now I'm going to select Cloudflare, enter on this, enter. I'm just leaving everything what's recommended, enter. And right now, setup, carry on. And Pi-hole installation has finished. It gives me IP address where I need to go and log into the Pi-hole. It's telling me that the IP address /admin is going to be admin portal, and this is the password that I need to use to log into admin portal. I will never remember that, so I'm going to change to something that I will, which is, to do that, you need to type Pi-hole space -a space -p, press enter, and enter a new password for Pi-hole admin panel. So password has been changed, and if I go to my browser, Samsung Internet, and I enter 192.168.178.59 or 159. Press enter, and in a matter of seconds, I'll be presented with the Pi-hole page. I'm going to say I want to go into admin panel. Admin panel open, so I can click on the login. It's going to ask me to enter the password that I just changed. Press enter, and I'm logged in. A couple of things you need to do on here. You need to go into settings. At the top, once this loads, you need to click on DNS and change to permit all origins. If you will not change this, basically Pi-hole will only accept requests from its own IP. Once you change it to permit all origins, you will be able to, or Pi-hole will be able to query your DNS requests even when you're not at home. Via Tailscale, it's still gonna basically block ads on your Galaxy device, on your Samsung DeX, even if you are not at home, which is an amazing feature. So once you selected permit all origins, scroll down and click save. So once that's done, that's it, Pi-hole is ready. Next thing, we need to go and set up the Tailscale. Go on our Tailscale website, log in, and then select downloads. I will select Linux, or should be selected by automatic Linux. I'll copy this line, which is automated script to install Tailscale. Go back into my Termux, clear the screen, make sure the Termux is still connected. Left click and hold, choose paste, and press enter. And right now this script will install the Tailscale. It's going to go and fetch the correct version of the Tailscale for correct OS, and it will get everything installed. This process will take about a minute or so. So leave this running, and I'll be back when this is done. Tailscale is finished. Actually, it took about 20 seconds, not even that, probably 15 seconds. And it's telling me that installation complete. Log in to start the Tailscale while running Tailscale space up. You need to run Tailscale space up with additional flags to allow specific feature within a Tailscale. To do that, you type Tailscale space up space -- advertise routes equals 192.168.178.0.24. And I'm writing this IP address to tell Tailscale that this is my submask. Yours is going to be different. Yours might be 192.168.1 something or 10.0.0, and whatever it is. Enter this, and I'm going to press enter. And it's telling me that warning, IP forwarding is disabled. Ignore that. We definitely turned the IP forwarding on. For some reason, Tailscale still moans about it. So ignore this error message. You just copy this link, https://login, etc. You just copy this, go into your browser, open a new tab, paste that link, and press enter. It's going to ask you to log into your Tailscale account. I'm going to say sign in with Google. Select my Google account that I used to create this account. Authorization successful. I can close that. Can go back into the tailscale.com website. Actually, not this one, this tab. And if I'm going to refresh, we have Tailscale activated. So right now I went to tailscale.com, logged in with my account, and I can see the episode-YT3 is in the list, and it says my DietPi OS VM running on the Proxmox server. And it tells me at the bottom 192.168 my IP address, which is great. I'm going to click on the three dots and say edit route settings, and it will turn that on. Wait for a second or so for this to turn on. It's going to take about a couple of seconds or so, so wait for this to turn on. Here we go. And that's being turned on. I'm going to close that, and I'll click on the three dots again, and it'll say disable key expire, just to make sure. If you will leave a key expire on, I think within 90 days or 365 days, there is an expiring date, which means that basically after that time, the Tailscale authentication will expire and you will need to re-authenticate again. I'm just going to turn that off. So right now, the episode-YT3 is permanently activated via my Tailscale account, and it's acting as a route, submask or subnet route to my Proxmox server. Next thing, I'm going to copy this IP address, 100, etc. Click on DNS, click on this, delete that. This was me playing about previously, and I'm just going to paste that in, press enter. So ending with 119.6, this is my DietPi virtual machine. So that means that I want this virtual machine act as my DNS server within Tailscale network. And the DietPi VM has a Pi-hole installed. So basically my DietPi VM with a Pi-hole will act as my DNS server. Doesn't matter where I am in the world with my fault-free phone or my Samsung DeX setup. If I go back to a Pi-hole, it should tell me a couple of things have moved since then. Since nothing, okay. And right now, Tailscale app needs to be loaded and installed on your Galaxy device. I already have mine installed, so I'm gonna just run it. Say sign in with Google. Pick the Google account that I just used to set everything up, and I am logged in. And right now, if I refresh Pi-hole, nothing happening. But if I'm gonna go to a page, let's say CNN, enter that, go back into Pi-hole, let's refresh. It's nothing happening. Let me double check. Did I activate it? Oh, I forgot to turn the override local DNS networks. That's the one needs to be on. Otherwise, it's still using your home network or Google or something. You need to turn that on. That means all the devices within this list, you can have here 2 or you can have here 222. They're all going to use that. So right now, if I'm going to go to Pi-hole, I can see 26 here. So if I'm going to go and let's say into the Samsung DeX subreddit group, so subreddit group loading, that's great. If I go back to Pi-hole, it's right now 35. One is blocked. So right now I am logged in to my Tailscale network, and my Pi-hole which running inside DietPi OS VM acts as my DNS. So where this all routing about? Why we done all this 192 all this? This is basically what means that this device, episode dash of White YouTube free, let's call it DietPi OS. This acts as my gateway to my home network from Tailscale's network. To show you how that is working, I'm going to open Termux, ping, let's say my router, which is ping 192.168.178.1. So I'm pinging my home router, and as you can see, ping's coming back successfully, but I'm logged in to a Wi-Fi to my home. What if I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off? So right now Wi-Fi is off. As you can see on bottom here in the right corner, it says 4G. So I'm right now connected to a 4G, which is basically outside my home network. And I have a Tailscale turned off. As you can see, Tailscale is stopped. So I'm gonna ping the home router again. As you can see, there is no pings coming back successful. So it means that's it. I'm outside my home network trying to ping a device which is inside my home network. And obviously it's gonna fail because I have no access to my home network from outside. But what if I'm going to turn the Tailscale on? So Tailscale is on, and now I'm going to ping my home network router. So let's wait for a second. It should start any second now. I'm just going to double check. And what that means, that basically this DietPi OS acts as a gateway. So Termux should start bringing me a successful pings, as you can see now. So let's ping, I think it's 58. I have another VM of 59. I can't remember which address I have. Let's say ping again the home network router, and successful pings coming back. So how all this is happening is my Galaxy device on 4G outside home network using DietPi OS as a gateway to access not only Pi-hole but any other device within my home network. There's 1,000,001 ways to get this done. One of them would be a WireGuard using open VPN services, etc. I tried WireGuard, but with WireGuard I was getting tanked on the download and upload speed while I was connecting to my home network via VPN. With the Tailscale, everything works at 100%. and 100 speed. I'm getting all the speed that I should get with this kind of setup, and it works for me, and hopefully it's going to work for you. And this is how you set up DietPi OS VM on a Proxmox server. This is how you set up the Pi-hole ad blocker, and this is how you set up a Tailscale to act as a gateway to your home network. So that's it. In another episode, we're going to carry on setting up amazing things on a Proxmox server with Samsung DeX, and in another episode, I'll show you a specific games server to run on the Proxmox that you can play by connecting to it from a Samsung DeX. So I'll see you in another episode. Goodbye.